And just like that, any goodwill that Crunchyroll managed to build for themselves in this last month was thrown into the garbage bin with the reveal that episode 3 of Please Put Them On indeed is a censored version. Now, for those that are out of the loop, let me give a few clarification bits here. For one, there is 3 different versions of Please Put Them On, and the version that episode 1 and episode 2 of Please Put Them On had on Crunchyroll's site was the entire uncensored version of the anime. However, with episode 3 that was set to air last week, there was a sudden delay, and the delay basically said that it wouldn't air until this week, aka today, Wednesday, on April 23rd of today, aka this very day. However, if you scroll down, you'll notice that episode 3 is somehow already out. It's been out since late last night. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but basically, Crunchyroll released episode 3, and it is the less censored version, or in this case, it is a censored version, but not the full censored version. I'll give clarity to all that in a moment. But the point is that there was a delay last week, and there was really no explanation for it. There was an email that came in, and we got a brief corpo explanation saying that Crunchyroll does not censor content themselves. They just get the broadcasting or the episode from the companies, and basically they release it on their platform. However, there was, information out there that there was 3 separate versions of Please Put Them On. We know of the uncensored version, which episode 1 and 2 is what was on Crunchyroll, and then there was a less censored version, which is what episode 3 on Crunchyroll now has, and then there was an entirely censored version. And the thing is with the overall delay last week, there was only 2 explanations that people could have. That was either A, there was a translation issue. For instance, Crunchyroll was having a hard time with getting the translations out on time, or it was them wanting to censor the said content to some degree, or getting a more censored version, so to speak, of the said content. And it seemed with the lack of response, no communication from Crunchyroll whatsoever, it was leaning more into the line of, yes, they just wanted the censored version. Now, there could be more nuance to this story, but the point of the matter is that Crunchyroll did offer a product, the first 2 episodes of Please Put Them On, with the entire uncensored version from ATX. However, now we are getting a different version that is a more censored version of it, and it is just questionable why they would even do this to begin with. Now, one thing I will say, and I do want to point out, is that episode 3 is out here, as you can see. However, if you take a look here, it says that a new episode will apparently come out today. And, I will give Crunchyroll the benefit of the doubt here. I doubt I'm correct, but I will give them the benefit of the doubt there is a way out of this. Maybe the version we got late last night, which is the less censored version, maybe we're going to have 2 different versions of Please Put Them On that airs on Crunchyroll's site. AKA, we're going to have the less censored version, and then the fully uncensored version. I could see something like that happening. However, if I had to really be honest here, this is most likely just a bug on their site. Most likely they haven't updated it or whatever, because maybe they internally don't know that this is still showing or whatever. I think that this most likely doesn't really mean anything. However, there always is a chance that when, the normal schedule of an episode releasing today comes around, maybe they will, actually release the fully uncensored version of episode 3. But getting back into the main point, at least what we have currently right now with this evolving story, Crunchyroll has released a more censored version. And to kind of give clarity to the differences between these versions, let's start with that. So, the uncensored version is what we expected, what we got from episode 1 and episode 2 of the anime thus far, shows everything. Actually shows everything. Then you have the less censored version, which is what this episode is. And the less censored version, more or less, does show a lot. It shows basically everything above the waist. But anything below is completely censored, with stickers and the MC popping up, aka it looks like something like this, where the main character's face appears to censor said character's body. So, this is the less censored version, as you can see on screen here. And then you have the fully uncensored version, which means that if there's anything showing whatsoever at all on the characters' bodies, completely with the stickers or the main character's faces appearing on it. So that is the differences between the versions. So basically, Crunchyroll got rid of the uncensored version, or it seems to be, and they're now getting the less censored version, which censors anything, for instance, below the waist. The question I have here is why? Why do this? So that is the big fundamental question I think all of us are asking right now. Is this intentional? Did Crunchyroll just pull another interspecies reviewers? What really is going on here? If I had to take an educated guess, okay, there is a few ways this can go. One, Crunchyroll got this series. They were somehow unaware of what they got their hands on. Because I want to remind everybody, because I talked about it last week, Crunchyroll might not be Funimation, but a lot of their ex-employees and stuff was merged into Crunchyroll and a lot of their policies as well. And as we all know what happened with interspecies reviewers, Funimation got a hold of that series. It was very clear they had no idea what property they got a hold of, because they were grabbing as many licenses as they could from Japan to be able to basically get a one-up on their competition. aka like High Dive, for instance, Crunchyroll at the time, Netflix, you get the point. So it was very clear that Funimation was just grabbing a bunch of stuff just to get as many properties as they could and kind of stranglehold their competition. And then, after a few episodes passed, there was some controversy around interspecies reviewers. Funimation just straight up dropped the series. Like, you cannot legally watch it pretty much anywhere. And it's just questionable. It's like, why even pick it up to begin with? And they were even English dubbing it. And so we fast forward to today. Obviously, Funimation has been merged into Crunchyroll. They have a similar structure now. You can assume that this could be a lesser version of what happened to interspecies reviewers. Maybe Crunchyroll, some people, the head honchos at the top doing the business decisions, had no idea what property somehow they got a hold of. I don't know how that's possible, but once again, this has happened before with certain individuals in charge when it came to Funimation. So it's not entirely unlikely to assume maybe a similar situation to that happened with Please Put Them On. Now, obviously, this might not be true, and it could be entirely something else going on behind the scenes, which we gotta get into the next segment, the delay of last week. With the episode delay, there's only a few ways to take it, as I already mentioned. You could take it as a problem with translations, or they wanted to get a censored version. That's the only way to really take it. And with the lack of response from Crunchyroll and not really wanting to elaborate on the situation, because they basically never want to be transparent, they rather be silent and completely, like, be really rude or just, kind of a brick wall to their, customers. This is a typical Crunchyroll response. They're not going to give us an answer, which in turn is going to allow people to have the narrative that it is definitely for censorship reasons, which I don't blame people. I mean, we've already seen examples of this, and when you have them get a censored version, in comparison to what they've already been showing, it makes a lot of sense why people, myself included, would have that impression about Crunchyroll. So what I really want to say about this situation is that even if you don't care about please take them off, like you don't care about this anime in general, it doesn't change the fact that it is completely, it's honestly in some ways false advertising, because I want to point this out again, that the anime legitimately has this advisory on it. It straight up says it right here. It's not like it's trying to hide it. They have these warning labels on this show. It's always been there, and I'm going to be blunt, they have other series on this platform that shows almost as much as this, or even more. And the fact that they're still on completely fine, I'm just like, what's going on here? Why are you doing this? I mean, at the end of the day, it might be something to do with licensing. Maybe there's some issues with these different broadcasting stations or whatever with the different versions of Please Put Them On. But once again, the lack of transparency just makes it awful. And it makes people kind of, once again, resent Crunchyroll and not really want to subscribe to them. Because it's like, when there is a version out there that you can watch for free that is completely uncensored, people are going to go to it. I want to point out, the episode aired perfectly fine in Japan last week, okay? And people that are into the show are going to watch it in other ways. They're not going to wait on Crunchyroll. And so if they're going to give you an inferior product, people are going to go other ways. Just going to keep it real. Which, that's another thing. So, what Crunchyroll could do here to rectify this issue is a few things. They could be transparent and say what happened, okay? And try to say, no, we aren't trying to censor. That would bring some goodwill back. And if it is something to do with licensing, be honest about it. Just be straight up honest. I feel like people would be willing to work with Crunchyroll more if they actually were just blunt, if it was a licensing issue or something. But at this time, it looks like just blatant censorship. If they were to offer different versions, maybe if they offered a censored version, an uncensored version, then okay, that would be completely fine. I mean, once again, I don't see why anyone would want to watch a show like this and watch a censored version of it. It makes no sense. But if they offered both versions, that would be completely fair as well. But, like I said, I feel like, in general, it's a bad look, it's not good, and it seems like our fears have been realized when it comes to the show. Now, I want to point out again, apparently there's supposed to be a new episode coming out today. This is probably a glitch, but we will see once more hours pass and the official release of apparently this episode comes out today. We will see if there's a new episode 3 or not, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. May all of you have a fantastic day or night wherever you live, and Chibi out.